and recording on the cloud and going live in 3, 2. Hello, Entrepreneurial Connections Movement. My name is Renee Hribar, sales strategist, TEDx speaker, and author, and I have a special guest today, a woman that I interviewed almost 2 years ago before I even had my business officially online. And to say that she has blown up is an understatement. I am so honored to have Miss Janine Esbrand today. Woohoo!
Hi, Renee. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited that you are here. Now, for those of you who have not met Janine yet, she is amazing. And she has a full interview and training and freebie over in the units section. So make sure to check her out for sure over there. But for right now, we have her live. So I'm going to dig in a little bit because I know her story and I really want her to share it with you because it's so good. So Janine, tell everyone here who maybe doesn't know you, what is the backstory of your business?
Okay, so my backstory goes way back, starting with, I guess, me being 8 years old and deciding that I wanted to be a lawyer. So I was quite argumentative as a child. And so my mum suggested that I should be a lawyer because I had an answer for everything. And that kind of stuck with me. And so I rolled with it and went throughout school and just figured out what it was I needed to do to become a lawyer. And so that was really my focus. So I did all the grades, studied, did what I needed to do. And then I got to the stage where I was qualifying. So I was training, I was doing the final part. So in the UK, you have to do a 2-year training contract. And so I was almost there. And then I started to feel like, is this it? Is this like what I'm going to be doing? Because once you get into it, it's a bit different to like Law and Order and Ally McBeal and how they make it look. And then
No way.
So different.
Ally McBeal. I love that show.
That's part of the reason. My mum and Ally McBeal, those two things suggested that I should be a lawyer. But anyway, so I had the chance to go on this legal mission trip to Africa. So I went to East Africa. I spent a week in Kenya and a week in Rwanda, and it was amazing. It was the best experience ever. So we had the opportunity, it's a group of Christian lawyers, and we had the chance to use our legal skills and expertise to really help people on the ground. So we went into prisons and we educated people who were on remand for like years, 3 years, 5 years. They were just, they'd been arrested. They didn't have money to get a lawyer, any access to justice. And so they were just there and they didn't know what they were to do to get out of their situation. So we went in and gave them training on their legal rights, on how they can represent themselves, on the laws that they need to rely on to be able to present their case. So we had the opportunity to work with a local organization who's doing that work. And that was amazing. And then we went into the villages and we educated parents on children's rights and child protection and the fact that they should allow them to have an education instead of keeping them home to work and stuff like that. So it was just amazing. We even done some policy stuff. So it was 2 weeks, but it was a whirlwind. And then we came back. And I came back to the UK. There were some lawyers who were from Australia. And then I was just doing kind of some litigation work and some mergers and acquisitions. And I found it really hard to transition back into work. I was like, a couple of weeks ago, I was really making an impact and a difference to people's lives. And today I'm chasing up unpaid bills, or I'm arguing about like clauses in a contract to make someone more money. And so there was this misalignment and I just felt like this can't be it. I need to be doing more to help people on a personal level. And so I went on like a journey of exploration, like what could I do? How could I use my skills, all this stuff. And then I came across coaching. So I went to a 2-day taster session with an organization called the Coaching Academy. And literally I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a coach. I've been a coach my whole life. I just didn't know there was a whole industry. They were like, what is this? So I was so excited that there was this whole industry around coaching because I've always been that person to like encourage people to see the positives, to say like, okay, forget about what's happened before, like where do you want to get to, what do we need to do? And so to know that there's a whole industry, I was like, right, I need to jump in. So I studied alongside my legal career. I did my certification, and so qualified as coach. But when I qualified, it was in 2014, and then shortly after I got pregnant with my son and figured that I can't really build a business and be working crazy hours as a corporate lawyer. So I parted the business side of things. And then once I got halfway into my maternity leave, which was 6 months in, because I had a year, Then I decided, okay, now I can focus my energies on figuring out the marketing side of business. I had no idea. And so, yeah, that was in early 2016. And then since then, I've been building my coaching practice, and I still work as a lawyer part-time, and I've had a second baby in between that time. And so, yeah, I juggle my coaching business, working as a lawyer, and my two babies.
And a podcaster, and this.
Oh, yeah. And I have a podcast.
It's just amazing.
And a husband.
And a husband, right, who's also a doctor, so just lots going on, and juggle both. Yeah. So I'm just, every time I connect with you, Janine, I just get so excited. So for those of you who are listening, who are also seeing like her backstory and relating to that, like you were on this one trajectory, something happened, you realized there was a better way, and so you sought after the solution. And that's truly what Janine has done. So Janine, how do you work with clients now? And tell me about the work that you do for them.
Yeah. So when I first qualified as a coach, I was like, I just want to help everybody. And then when I went through my transition into motherhood, I realized that there's a lot of professional women who've worked really hard to build up their careers, like I did in terms of being a lawyer. And then they struggle with, how am I going to continue my career and be a great mum? And there was this big struggle for me as to like, how do I go back? So I went from being a corporate lawyer and transitioned to being an in-house lawyer so that I could accommodate the family life that I wanted to live. And so I decided I wanted to focus my coaching business in that area. So really helping women to figure out, what do you want your career to look like beyond motherhood? So it might be that you go back to what you did before. It might be that you do something completely different, or it might be that you need to negotiate some kind of shift. So I work with women to really get clear on, what is it that you want now? Because your values may have shifted and things might look different for you. And then how do we move forward to get you to that place so that you don't feel like you need to give up on your career if that's not what you want to do. So I work with women on a one-to-one basis and help them work through that process. I also have developed a course which is called the Smooth Return course, which is really for the woman who's on maternity leave and getting her to go through the process of figuring out, well, how am I going to make this juggle work? How do I hit the ground running when I get back? So the course takes you step by step through the process that I went through and that I take clients through, so that you can feel confident that you can do the juggle. And I realized though that in doing the course and working with individuals, that really that's only one side of the equation. The other side is organizations. So as much as the woman can prepare herself, the organization that she works for needs to accommodate her and also support her in the transition back. So now I am working with organizations, so taking this course and offering it to them so they can give it to their ladies so that they feel equipped and they feel supported. And so, yeah, at the moment I'm working with some local firms and looking at getting it into more organizations and firms, because I think it's a really great resource for them. And then I also run a monthly membership community for women so that they get that ongoing support. So once they've gone back, it's like, okay, I'm back, but what are your career goals going forward? And we provide training, resources, experts, and community to really help you to feel like you have a village around you. Because being a working mum is not easy. You want that ongoing support and help, so that we provide that as well.
I love it. I love it. It's something you do it in such a way that is so caring and empathetic and value driven. I mean, like the information, like contract negotiation. I mean, that's your professional legal side coming out. I know that there's been women that said, hey, I wanted to get a raise, or I wanted to negotiate with my boss how to actually work from home 3 days a week. And you have been so pivotal in making sure that that's possible, that they feel the confidence with it in writing to go back and do that through your training. So I just love the support that you've given individuals, and I can see that as it grows to the organizations, what an impact it's going to make. I don't know a woman that I'm friends with that didn't struggle with this. Every one of, including me. We come back from maternity leave. Even if we took some gap years? Like I took 3 gap years. I came back in thinking, I don't have anything to offer, and what's my, what is my market value right now, and did I detriment myself by taking that time off? And how can I make it so that I am valuable to an organization? So I just love how you're educating the organizations and you're educating the women, and you're really the conduit to bring it all together. I just love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. And when I work with women, so there's 2 examples that I'll give quickly where I've seen the impact. So I worked with one mum who was a stay-at-home mum of 4, and she'd been out of the workforce for like 5 years because she had her kids very close together, and her confidence was just at rock bottom. Like, she knew she wanted to go back, but she was like, I just don't know how. I have no idea where to start. I don't know what to do with my CV, my cover letter. I don't know how to apply for a job. She was just so like, this isn't possible. And so she went through the Smooth Return course, and then we worked together one-on-one, and we went from her feeling like it wasn't possible to her landing her ideal job, which was like 3 days a week, part-time, being able to work in the industry she wanted to go into and still have time for her children. I was just like, yes. So when she called me to say she got the job, I was buzzing for a week, like a whole week. I was just like, this is amazing.
I just got chills. I love it.
I was so excited. And then another lady who was in our collective, which is the monthly membership, she was on maternity leave and wanted to go back part-time, but she felt like she couldn't see anyone else in her organization working part-time, so she thought they were going to say no. So I worked with her within the collective to say, okay, you're going to go in with your case. Like, you need to really set out your business case, not just, oh, I want to work flexibly, but why are you of value to the organization? So we worked through all of that with her, and she got onto a group call with other ladies, and everyone else chimed in, gave her tips, and then she came back and was like, oh my gosh, they said yes. I cannot believe they said yes. I'm blown away that they gave me what I asked for. So now she's working part-time, and, she's still working out how it all works, but they've agreed that she can work part-time on the hours and the days that she wanted to work. So it was just showing her that it was possible. And for me, when I get those, like, that feedback, I'm just like, this is why I do it. It's like amazing.
I love it. I love it. And now it's growing and growing. And so, love it. I love hearing that. I'm thinking of like I'm naming names in my head of like my friends who I've already told about you. I need to nudge them a little more. So, with all this amazing work, I mean, for anybody listening who has, a membership or, has a podcast, has a course, has worked with consulting organizations or not, but sometimes you wonder, where do I find these clients? How do I have this conversation so that I shepherd them to make the best decision? And truly that's how I look at sales. And so after working with many, many women one-on-one, including you, Janine, we then went through the 21-day sales bootcamp, and now you have access to the Celica Mother program. So maybe for those of the audience listening, can you tell them how you use the content inside Celica Mother to advance your business?
Okay, so we've worked together for a while in different ways, but I think going through Celica Mother has been really useful. I think that what I recognized is that it doesn't matter how much coaching expertise I have or experience that I have, if I don't know how to communicate that with somebody and I can't sell it, then I can't work with people. And so going through the work that I've done with you and through Celica Mother, it's going through the step-by-step process to say, well, it showed me, how do I get in front of people? How do I find the people? How do I connect with the people? Because that's the hardest thing. It's like, you've got all of these people on the internet and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm online. Like, there's so many people, but then how do I connect with them in a way that doesn't feel spammy, in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, I'm like a used car salesman, like, I struggled with the whole, like, how do I approach? And I think Celica Mother, the step-by-step, like, this is the first thing you need to do, the second thing you need to do. These are the kind of scripts in terms of how you can reach out to someone. I found that really useful. Like, you can tweak it and change it, but it's the framework is there. And so I really felt like, okay, I have a plan. I'm a lawyer. Like, I need a plan. Like, when people are just airy-fairy about stuff, I'm like, yeah, but give me this. I need something to follow. And so this gave me that something to follow. And then I just really love the fact that, well, for me, I kind of dip in and out. So if I have a sales call, I'll pull up the script and go over it again in my head and be like, okay, what do I need to say first, second? Like, what do I need to make sure that I hit? And then you've got like audio trainings that can help you get your mindset right before you go onto a call. So if I have a call coming up, I often will play that and be like, okay, what did Renee say? Okay, let me listen to this. So I'll listen to that. I'll go through the script. And so I think for me, those are the most useful things in terms of like the sales and actually like making the sale. And then other things that are useful is when you're thinking about reaching out to people, like I'll go on, if I'm saying, okay, I want to send a follow-up email, and I start thinking, okay, who haven't I spoken to? How do I send an email in the best way? Like, how do I word it? And so you've got like templates and scripts in there that will say like, this is the type of way that you start the conversation, or continue the conversation, or remind the person of you, or stay top of mind. So again, that's really useful. So it's just going through the process of, okay, these are people I can connect with as new people and following the process, and then who's already in my world, and how do I follow the process to then try and bring those people back to potentially working with me.
Awesome. I love it. Yes, that's all in there.
Yeah, and more, and there's so much more in there. Like I've been through it when I first joined Celica Mother, but now that I've been through it and I'm working with you like in mastermind and stuff, it's like I can still go back to it. And it's awesome when I get your emails as well, because it's reminders when you're just like, oh, you send stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's good actually, let me go check that point. And so it just feels like it's an ongoing living, breathing support for me as I go through like sales, because it's all, you're just like you say, you're flexing muscles, right? You're learning, and you're building and you're growing, and you're always doing the next stage of things. And so Sound Like a Mother is awesome. It's like, it's just an amazing program. Like it has everything in there. I'm just like, Renee, there's like so much. Any question that you have, it's like, oh, it's in Sound Like a Mother.
So, yeah, and I keep adding to it. Every time we go over, at least every time we go over something in the mastermind, I'll say, that could be another good lesson. Hold on. Did I make that template? And let me add another template.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part. So whoever is in this journey with us now, they're going to continue to benefit by being connected. So I'm just so thankful to hear your business growing and expanding, Janine. I absolutely love what you do. And it would be a crime, a legal crime, if the world didn't know about it. And so I'm glad that like another
I love that, a legal crime.
Al, we're going to bring this to justice.
Totally, we need to. No, it's awesome. The program is awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much, Janine, for coming on and sharing your story about your business and what you do, how you work with your clients, and then how you use Celica Mother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Renee. Bye.
And the live stream is ending. Done. I'll stop the recording.